Carpe diem. My name is Ultranatic. Let's get this over with. Disney versus. This is where I look at a movie from Walt Disney Animation Studios, and then review another film right after it that rivals it in some way. And considering I reviewed the sequel to Hunchback in my last installment of Disney Versus, it only makes sense to review the sequel to the most recent film I've covered, that sequel being Mulan 2.
Get to me.
The sequel to one of Disney's most popular symbols of feminism has gotten surprisingly mixed reactions. Some actually consider it to be one of the few good Disney sequels, as it kept true to the animation style and had a lot of effort put into it, while others see it as a horribly botched story that insults Chinese culture and even basic good taste. Which camp am I in? Oh, you'll see by the end. So break out that Szechuan sauce you were probably saving for winter. Trust me, this is the occasion you were supposed to be saving it for. This is Mulan 2. So we open with George Takei's ancestor character giving build-up to the impact Mulan had on the plot of the first film, which is fitting given how the focus of this movie is going to be heavily on...
Say my name. Mushu. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, seriously, Mushu is the main focus of this movie. I know, right? How is Mushu, someone who wasn't the focus of the last film, the focus of this one? Well, keep in mind, this is strangely common in sequels. There are several studios that, for whatever reason, choose to make the focus to their follow-ups of their big films a side character from the first. Space Gems 2, Bartok the Magnificent, Secret of NIMH 2, even other Disney sequels do this.
And you'll never get enough. Just forget about love.
Heck, Iago's arc in Return of Jafar is comparable to Mushu's here. Except Iago's art doesn't make me want to pull out his insides and take him to a taxidermist. No, I'm not kidding. While I had problems with Mushu's character in the first film, they're nothing compared to here. At least in the first film, by the end, he was trying to make up for his deception and mistakes towards Mulan. And even though I couldn't get into Eddie Murphy's performance, I'm sure it made a lot of people laugh.
There are a couple of things I know they're bound to notice.
But considering Murphy probably charges the GDP of some countries to play in films, I'm willing to bet they couldn't afford him here. So instead they got actor Mark Moseley to voice him, which admittedly isn't the worst idea. I mean, he is the guy who sang Mushu's verse in the last film.
This guy's got him scared to death.
And even did the singing voice to another signature animated character voiced by Murphy, Donkey from Shrek.
And I saw her face. Now I'm a believer.
Impressively, this guy can sing way better than Murphy can. But that's the key problem here. Singing, he does that fine. Acting like Murphy, though?
The theme is pink. I want to see pink flowers, pink ribbons, pink bows. I'm not talking about salmon. Don't show me no blush.
Yeah, how can Nicolas Cage and John Travolta, two actors with incredibly different techniques, act perfectly like each other in movies, when Moseley, the guy whose voice he's supposed to be perfect at imitating, can't? It's kind of a marvel.
Oh, that did it.
Are you crying again?
No, I just got some exfoliating cream in my eye. Of course I'm crying, girl. What you think?
There's no good comedy that comes from this character, and instead just makes him sound like a snobbish, scheming asshole. Though to the direction's credit, I'm willing to bet that was intentional because the way he's written in this movie fits the performance to a T. Take this first scene where he just makes the ancestors act like servants to him to get to his pedestal.
Ceremonial robe of honor. Ooh, if Mulan could see me now.
Okay, first off, Mulan saved China, not you, you smug walking cigarette lighter. Heck, you caused more trouble for Mulan and helped dispel it. Why are you patting yourself on the back?
Mulan saves China one time, and now he thinks he's the emperor.
Thank you for bringing that up, Sulu, because it leads me to my second problem. Why are the Guardians letting Mushu literally walk all over them? Yeah, he was the Guardian for the savior of China, and I guess did help a little in the first film. But if he bosses you around like this every day, you have a right to say no. You want to treat us like literal stepping stones over our dead bodies? Wait. Bad choice of words. How are you guys solid? I don't get that. So after they blow bubbles into his bath, ew, we finally get some focus on the person who should be the main character, Mulan, with a noticeably rounder head. Between her and Heather from Total Drama, is this a thing with changing the shape of animated Asian characters' heads?
The first and most important lesson is to be gentle. At the same time, we're being tough.
but at least she, along with the majority of the rest of the cast, is voiced by the same actor or actress from the first film. I also give credit that, despite the terrible opening from Mushu, the parts after the title cards look promising, not just in voice cast, but in animation and even music style, which are both on par with the first film, as some of the girls from the village come to admire Mulan and talk about how they want to be warriors like her. So she sings a song about the true qualities of being a warrior and having balance.
Winter, summer, moon, and sun. Lesson number 1.
While not an amazing song, as it starts a little off trying to find a rhythm,
Earth, sky, day, night, sound and silence, dark and light.
it quickly improves, actually having momentum and even some good messages about how being forceful isn't the key to being strong.
Alone is not enough. You need both together.
Heck, the wisdom and expression shown by Mulan display distinct growth in character from the first film, sadly undercut by a small comedic subplot where the grandmother is baiting on if Li Shang will propose to Mulan before sunset.
The spirits tell me Shang will arrive and propose to Mulan before the sun sets. There's still time to get in on the pool.
Gambling is like playing mahjong with blank tiles. No one really wins.
Yes, they do. They're games of strategy and chance. Anybody can win. What are you trying to tell people? So not only do you not know how to explain the concept of gambling, but you give a very mixed message about it being okay to gamble and it being not okay to gamble. I bring this up because the movie has a weird problem with sending conflicting morals, though we'll get to that.
It's General Shang! General Shang!
Oh, wow, that's big. I mean, after all, his father was the general in the last movie, but got killed off in an attack by the Huns. And now he has to carry on his legacy as the new general of the Chinese army? My goodness, the stakes are ramped. And Li Shang must have great anxiety about being the new general and filling in his father's shoes. What do they do with this story?
The new uniform suits you, General.
Oh, the uniform. Yes. Now I just have to live up to it.
That's it? Oh, come on, that can't be it. This is a big deal we're talking about here. It should be treated like one. So, do you have a reason for mentioning this development and then doing nothing with it? Right, I should expect this much. It's like having a comic where Batman dies and Robin becomes the new Dark Knight. Who want to expand on that story?
I win the pot!
Actually, you bet he would propose before sundown. I bet he would propose before noon.
So if he proposed any later than sundown, you both lost. Idiots. She tells this to Mushu, who, get used to this in the movie, makes it all about him.
No, baby, this must be a magical moment for you.
It's not every day I get engaged.
No, I meant telling me you're engaged. After all, you know I'm the guy that gave you and Pretty Boy the hookup.
I swear I should be at game shows I use that buzzer so much, but you did nothing to hook these two up. The key factors in that were A, Mulan's choice on her own to join the recruits, and B, Emperor Merida for dropping hints to Shang himself.
Sir, you don't meet a girl like that every dynasty.
But go ahead and just tell the movie Mulan 2 is actually about Mushu, not what's-her-face Pocahontas, sure.
So glad my getting married is helping you out, Mushu.
I will admit, it's good to see Mulan being kinda snarky but also wise throughout the movie. I also like that we get some good initial chemistry between her and Shang after the entire town comes to wish them a happy engagement.
Took us by surprise, you know.
But the townspeople aren't the only ones who are told about the new fiancés.
Hold on to your ectoplasm now. Mulan's getting married.
It is written, once a woman marries, her husband's ancestors take over the duty of guardianship.
You're out of a job! Out of a pedestal! And out of our hair! Fool!
Okay, another laundry list of problems with this scene. 1, what does that mean for the rest of you? If the husband's ancestors take over the duties of the couple, then would there be use for any of you anymore? If I was making the rules here, then by this logic you'd be going to the Lost Souls room from Beetlejuice.
It's death for the dead.
And 2, as far as Mushu losing his job goes, why did you tell him that? I see this happen a lot in TV and movies where someone in a good position is about to be out of that good position due to some plot device, so the people who'd want them out of that position exposition, tell the person what's up. But wouldn't that give the person ample time to think of a way out of this mess? You could have kept your lips shut, blindsided him with the info later, and have no way to fight it then. It's basic strategy.
Perhaps this will ring a bell.
Also, as hateable as Mushu becomes in the story, the ancestors here are no better. I mean, glowing in his face about this is a major dick move. I know you're all dead, so you have no reason to show tact to him, but on the other side of that coin, you're dead, so why were you following everything he told you to do in the first place? God, you see what this movie's doing to me? It's so bad, it's making me go bald! Where'd that come from? But any worries Mushu might have about their marriage might not be an issue, as Mulan and Shang, despite their decent interactions, apparently have a few differences in the outlook of how their lives will turn out.
Will it be a big wedding?
Absolutely.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Children?
As many as possible.
Well, maybe one or two.
We'll have to think about it.
Right away.
Blue.
Pink.
Mild.
Spicy.
Yes.
No.
You know, this begs the question, why do you two want to get married? The plot takes place a mere month after the first film, so I can't gather you've bonded much since then. And no romantic subplot was established between you two in the first film until the end. I suppose they bonded a bit during training and throughout their expeditions, but we never actually see that. So we have no idea if they have anything in common or what between their personalities they like about each other.
You took away my victory.
No, I did.
The soldier from the mountains.
Okay, yes, she saved his life twice. Great. What else? After she saved him the first time, he discovered that she lied about her gender, which I imagine would be a real kicker in his trust for her. So not that you two make a bad couple, but I have no idea what makes you a good couple either.
Oh dear, did you hear that?
Not exactly a harmonious couple, are they?
Oh, really? I'd never have guessed.
They immediately get orders to see the Emperor, but Mushu is still showing disdain for their newfound engagement.
This must be pretty important for the Emperor to want both of us.
He knows a winning team when he sees one.
Since when are they the winning team? The ink ain't even dry on my pink slip, and I'm being replaced.
Yeah, I know, you're right. How could I have been so selfish?
Okay, for the record, my problems with Mushu can be boiled down to two clips. One is the one they just played for you.
How could I have been so selfish?
And the other is a soundbite from Doug Walker's Disney December review of Mulan 2, which, yeah, my thoughts aren't much different from his. That's the short version of this review. Sorry that took so long, but here's the excerpt.
Yeah, doesn't that make him incredibly likable?
Those two clips will be used a lot throughout this review. Mark my words.
Those two clearly got it going on. Cricket, I've made a decision. I gotta kiss my pedestal goodbye, cause my girl's happiness comes first.
Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. I mean, if Mushu's making this choice for himself, it completely redeems him as a character, showing to be a loyal, faithful companion to Mulan and really valuing her friendship and well-being. That's kind of heartwarming. I gotta applaud the movie for going through on something like that. I never should have gotten my hopes up. Yeah, after Mulan's parents give her and Shang a yin-yang necklace as a wedding gift, it gives Mushu the idea that their couple are too different and must be split up.
Mulan and Shang are as different as sun and rain.
Oh yeah, sure, she seems happy. That's the real tragedy here. That's why I gotta nip this thing in the bud. This is not about my pedestal. This is about Mulan making the biggest mistake of her life.
Yeah, doesn't that make him incredibly likable?
See, it already started, and even Cricky's reaction matches the audience's. So wait, the other loyal side character knows how horrible and out of character Mushu's acting, and yet the writers continue with it? Did this movie just get two different scripts and the director just went, who gives a crap, I can't pick, just merge them together, how badly could it affect the movie overall? Actually, how many people did write on this? This movie had 3 writers and 2 directed? Well, I haven't seen this joke in a long time, so I'm reinstating it.
Too many cooks, too many cooks, too many cooks, too many cooks.
So Mushu and Cricky accompany the couple to see the Emperor.
Cricky, what are you doing here? Protect Mulan from me, I'm her guardian. Yeah, you're her lucky Cricket. You're lucky I don't break out the bug spray.
Yeah, doesn't that make him incredibly likable?
After an establishing shot not ripping off Arabian Nights, we hear about the threat of the Mongols, which is growing greater, especially since they greatly outnumber the Chinese army. Gee, I can't imagine why after the first movie. I think Thanos took out less people than Shan Yu did. And yet Shan Yu still as interesting as a blank sheet of paper.
Your Majesty, let me lead my forces in a preemptive strike.
But okay, new big force on the horizon. I bet a new war is going to be fought by our new general and his fiancée, the savior of China. You have a beautiful, epic story being given to you on a golden platter, and you're not going to use it? Your loss. Actually, the Emperor instead wishes to make an alliance with the neighboring kingdom of Qigong through marriage.
You will escort 3 princesses to Qigong. They will marry Lord Qin's son and seal this critical alliance.
Yes, Mulan, you'd like to explain what you're inexplicably upset about.
Your Majesty, an arranged marriage?
Yep, she's against an arranged marriage, which everyone has already pointed out is stupid given the first film. You know, where she was going to do the exact same thing at the beginning. But this movie is all about both keeping and simultaneously shattering continuity, so why dwell on that?
My daughters know exactly what they're doing.
Your daughters?
They consider it an honor to marry in the cause of peace.
So he entrusts the safety of his daughters to his 2 finest warriors. And for their supporting troops, they call for the most obvious choice.
Calling Dr. Howard. Dr. Fine. Dr. Howard.
No, they instead call for 3 different stooges, Yao, Ling, and Qianpo, who are being rejected by the matchmaker from the last film because, duh.
What I asked for was a girl who would worship the dirt I walk on.
I simply asked for someone who would cook for me morning, noon, and night.
I just wanted a girl who likes to laugh and thinks I'm a god.
Why 3 of China's bravest soldiers who helped save the Emperor are having a hard time finding wives, I don't know, but small potatoes.
Well, I don't need her to be all smug and snooty.
I got a plaque right here that says I kicked her booty.
They reprised the comedic song from the first film, minus the genocide aftermath. I don't want to call any part of this movie an improvement, but I guess that counts. And they agreed the expedition and set out that night.
If we get to the Honshu Pass by midday tomorrow,
We'll have just enough time to make it to Qigong.
Yeah, just enough time to stop Mulan from making the biggest mistake of her life. How could I have been so selfish?
What's the face?
I realize our duty is to the mission.
But
I have another duty. To my heart.
your only duty is to the Emperor.
But Shang, an arranged marriage?
I know, but not everyone can be as lucky as we are. In an ideal world, everyone would marry for love, but the world isn't perfect. I'm just glad my world is.
You see, I like these 2. They're actually communicating like a real couple should. And since we just got something nice in the movie, guess who comes in to ruin it?
My world. Talk about selfish. You know, you don't hear me bragging about how it's my world, even though it pretty much is.
Yeah, doesn't that make him incredibly likable?
You know, I have to get this out of the way right here. Is this movie trying to be good? Or is it trying to be bad? And yes, there is such a thing as a movie trying to be bad. Have you seen Freddy Got Fingered?
Would you like some sausage? Daddy, would you like some sausages?
Even though I haven't seen it, I'm willing to bet it's one of the most unwatchable movies of all time. But celebrity Big Brother fan favorite Tom Green meant for that to be the case, which I have to respect on some level. But here, I can't tell if the movie is trying to do that or actually trying to be good still. Because we then see all the princesses, all with distinct personalities, and all voiced by highly acclaimed Asian American voice actresses, and even being kind of likable at first.
Did you see the way he looked at me?
Who? The gorilla with the bad eye?
He may be coarse on the outside, but on the inside.
He's gross?
I mean under that.
He smells?
I can see past my nose.
So if this movie is doing certain scenes right while still having one of the most intentionally hateable characters ever put on screen, then what does that say about the rest of the movie? Now, if Mushu was the only problem with the movie, I'd just call him the film's weak point. Except there is another big problem with the movie, the subplot of the princesses getting married. There are 3 of them and 3 human comic reliefs, so you know what's going to happen by the end. However, both sides of the romance here talk about how fraternizing with the other isn't for the greater good.
We're on a mission. No fraternizing with the princesses.
Remember, May, you are to be married in 3 days. You gave your solemn oath.
So they constantly talk about how they need this marriage alliance to work to keep China safe, and they're right! I mean, obviously I'm as Asian as Mickey Rooney over there, so my idea of marriages aren't going to be the same as theirs. However, I respect other cultures having different ideas of how love and union are supposed to work. But when the couples in the movie are constantly showing actual chemistry in the film, while still tiptoeing the line of breaking that oath, it sends messages that contradict each other like Captain America and Iron Man.
Your Highness, is anything wrong?
I just wanted to compliment you. Your duty was to stay home, but your heart told you to break the rules. I guess I learned that my duty is to my heart.
It's not that kind of duty.
But that subplot was just confused and ill-thought. Here's the corrupted side of Braindead again.
Pretty boy is gonna look so bad it'll send Mulan running for the hills.
Watch this.
Oh, hey! What?
You're going to break up Mulan and Shane by making Shane look clumsy. That's never going to work, dude. We're not talking about Jar Jar Binks here, who, for the record, is currently more likable than you are. Oh yeah, I went there. Wait, comic relief character is trying to break up the main couple in the movie, but failing spectacularly several times. This reminds me of something, but nah, it has to be a coincidence. They couldn't have done this.
Pumbaa, we can't let them feel the love tonight.
Yeah, unbelievable. This movie rips off The Lion King 1.5, the Disneytoon film that came out immediately before this one did. Have you no shame? And Con the Horse is very understandably pissed with Mushu. I wish he'd just squash him at some point. Joy, I could watch that clip over and over again.
I try and I try. I put my heart and soul into busting him up.
Yeah, doesn't that make him incredibly likable?
Speaking of shameless ripoffs, this next scene looks like something straight out of a Final Destination movie.
No, I just can't do it anymore. I throw myself at your mercy. My pedestal is all but a distant memory. Great spirits, take me now. Ah!
I only wish he met the same fate as the survivors of Flight 180 over there. At least I have this for solace. Well, at least this leads to the first bit of actual action in the entire movie as our characters try to save the princesses. They roll off a cliff but miraculously survive. No thanks to Mushu.
My fault.
Yeah, doesn't that make him incredibly likable?
Okay, I know this time it's only his fault indirectly, but given he's on thinner ice than the couple from Once Upon a Wintertime, he gets no freebies from me. But it's okay, this accident makes him incredibly happy.
Oh, Shang's steaming like a fresh pork bun. I bet he and Mulan are 2 nasty words away from an all-out feud.
Oh please, given how in sync their chemistry has been, that'd be incredibly out of character for them, wouldn't it? I'm going to strangle the bass hand who keeps contradicting me. Who are you down there? They set up camp and Mushu, thankfully, gets his wish.
There's a mountain pass between here and Qigong. It takes us through bandit country, but it's the only way.
Why not just follow the river?
Because the river's not on the map.
It's bound to go past a town, and where there's a town, there's a road.
There's no town on the map.
Well, then maybe we should just forget the map and wing it.
We need a new plan. We have 3 days. What if we get lost?
Then we pull over and ask directions.
Is it Weird That Finance Exchange kind of hilarious? I mean, no, I don't like it. It's one of the most cliched arguments you could ever hear from a couple. But it's hilariously cliched. I can't really explain it.
We don't need to pull over and ask directions. We have a map.
What is it with men and asking directions?
What is it with women and maps?
Would it kill you to leave the lid down? Would it kill you to look before you sit?
Thankfully, Yao interrupts the argument, showing a town right under their noses, and they immediately make up.
Oh.
Meanwhile, back at the camp.
Excuse me, Your Highness, I found your fan. It just needed a little drying out. Normally, I would say I'm your biggest fan. I'll just go away now, again. I'll replace that. Oh! Of course she doesn't like you.
You know, as tired as I am of Mushu, I'm weirdly not tired of the romantic cliches going on with the other 3 couples. From nervous small talk to stammering while being clumsy to walking away muttering about how stupid they must have sounded. I should be utterly sick of these cliches, but I'm not. I guess it's because Mushu was so unlikable that these dull cliches are tolerable by comparison. I've just had an apostrophe.
I think you mean an epiphany.
Whatever, but now I understand everything. I know exactly why this movie is so terrible. It's entirely Mushu. Well, okay, Duh, but you don't understand the extent of it. The rest of this plot is lazy, underwhelming, and completely predictable, and yet I care less about that and more about everything going on with the red Twizzler from hell.
How could I have been so selfish?
And there's a reason for that, because the writers wanted a recycled script, but were told to make sure they put effort into something. So, to mask how overdone the plot is, they turned an already on-edge comic relief into one of the most despicable anime characters this side have drawn together. Their plan was the audience would hate this guy so much that the rest of the cliched story would look above average by comparison. You diabolical, evil, completely hellbound geniuses.
How can you do that? How can you look right at someone, realize you share a special connection?
I know where my duty lies, May. Do you?
Well, that line doesn't seem familiar.
I will die doing what's right.
But if you...
I know my place. It is time you learned yours.
Remember, future sequel writers, if you run out of dialogue for your story, just steal from the first film. No one will notice. Actually, this does bring up the point of the movie which deserves the most discussion. Intelligent discussion. As May goes to write a letter saying she's running away, but her sisters catch her.
What are you thinking?
I can't complete this mission.
Why? Because Yao has given you his heart?
No, it's not about his heart. It's about mine.
Okay, these princesses are between the ages of 14 and 17 easily, because rational grown women don't give their hearts to people that they've known for a day and a half. But Teen Teen does what she can to talk some sense into her.
A princess must make every sacrifice for her country. It's our duty.
You see, this isn't your typical bad Disney sequel. They put some thought into this. The actual obligations of being a princess in other Disney films are never addressed. It's all about the fantasy of just becoming royalty. Except for Jasmine, but one film at a time. But actually talking about the traditions of this culture and how they relate to these women is much smarter dialogue than anything you'd hear from other Disney cheap pools.
She must humbly serve her country. Play the part she's been assigned.
Even when they go into song about it, it's done more sensibly and slowly than you'd normally expect.
Who could ever ask for more? Who could ever ask for more?
So I take it this movie is finally going to take a turn for the intelligent and actually tasteful.
I wanna be like other girls. Climb up a tree like other girls can. Just to be free like other girls. Get to be.
Yup, this is happening, people. The falling in love of Mulan 2. Okay, that's not fair. This song has an actual melody I can kind of sort of get behind. But definitely not lyrics, because holy shit zoos, none of this makes any sense.
I wanna be like other girls. Scream up my knee like other girls can.
Don't tell me, do girls like you go around with guys like me? What exactly do other girls do in your eyes?
To slouch when I sit, to eat a whole cake, feel the sun on my feet. Get dirty, like silly.
Okay, Disney, I'm sure this is completely unintentional, so I don't want to be too angry about the implications here, but if this is what these princesses think that other girls are like, then you've written these princesses to be incredibly naive and incredibly stupid. Now, I'm not saying other girls can't enjoy or do any of the things that they mention. Of course they can. But there's a time and a place, and this is indisputably the wrong time period and the wrong country. Not that I'm the biggest expert on Chinese culture, especially in that time period, but regardless how knowledgeable I am on the subject, I can show you how misguided this mindset is by pointing to the first film. Yeah, the one where initially Mulan was going to be a bride and was being judged on proper etiquette by a matchmaker. If this is the image a typical Chinese wife in that time period was supposed to look like, then every description they're giving of other girls is completely freaking inaccurate. Unless the other girls they're referring to are little kids. I mean, we don't see much of the children in these movies, but maybe they can do all this stuff. But that's because they're kids. Of course they're allowed to act like that. It's how children act. And not that adults can't act like that too, it's innocent enough. But if that's really what they think other girls act like in this time period and this region, I'm really about to round their parade here.
Like holding a lily.
No pinchy shoes?
Oh my god. Yeah, even the oldest sister gives into these inhibitions with almost no coaxing whatsoever.
No escorts, no manners. nurse, no nursemaids, no worries, no hands folded perfect.
I'm not sure if I'm depressed at how bad this musical number is being written, or more depressed that I still don't hate this song overall. Because as far as Disney cheapquel songs go, it's not even that bad. I credit that mostly to the melody, but even the melody is a solid 6, 7 out of 10. Who would put so much effort into such a terrible project? Never mind. He was great on Saturday Big Brother, I swear he was. We then see Mushu whispering subliminal messages into Shane's head while sleeping.
Man, she laughed at your map. And if she's laughing to your face, imagine what she's saying behind your back.
And this angle makes him look way too much like the devil on right people's shoulder. I'm sure it's a coincidence.
I mean, who's in charge here? You? I'm in charge. Or Mulan?
Yeah, doesn't that make him incredibly likable?
He then takes advantage of the half-asleep Shane by pretending he's Mulan.
General
Shang? Shang? Shang?
Ooh, I got it.
And I'm strangely willing to believe that Mark Mosley is good enough to mimic a convincing Mulan impression.
Everything's got to have a strategy.
Mulan?
The man won't brush his teeth without a backup plan.
And because Shane's an idiot, he goes to confront Mulan with his base assumptions.
Why, hello, General. Out on night maneuvers?
General Hardhead? Brushing my teeth?
Are you constipated?
Don't play coy. I saw you outside my tent.
What? I haven't left my post.
Okay, I guess we'll just ignore that grotesque caricature.
And I suppose you weren't gossiping about me with the princesses.
But yeah, now we have the typical argument where the couple misunderstands each other through terrible communication. And as cringeworthy as this scene is, at least it's better than Gwen and Trent's breakup.
Changing of the guard.
And next time, don't leave your post.
Okay, what was the direction for the animators on that one? Make him look like Reagan from The Exorcist singing the chorus to Believer by Imagine Dragons. Meanwhile, the other guards ask the princesses out on a date in the village nearby, which they accept.
Well, what do you know about that?
And for some reason, this makes Mushu happy. Hell if I know why, and hell if I care.
I'm just trying to tell you the princesses went AWOL, that's all.
Where are the guards?
Showing them the way.
They're together?
Mm-hmm.
Together?
Don't you understand Chinese?
Yeah. What?
Hey, what about old Shanghai?
Shang's on a short fuse as it is. Just make sure nothing wakes him up.
Why are you coming to me? You know what happens next. This movie is aiming so hard for a Razzie it bought a scope to make sure it stayed on target. Shang, of course, does wake up and finds the princess's letter in their tent, assuming it's from Mulan, because Mulan would have left her stuff in the princess's tent. Stupid. We, of course, see the village and the couples bond over various interests, but Mulan catches them in the act and I'm sure is gonna chew them out for going AWOL.
Oh, Mulan, it's love.
Or cheer for them like sorority sisters.
Gao and myself, Shampoo and Sue.
And myself and Lingy Bear.
Yeah, I know I saved China and the Emperor gave me a lot of mementos for that accomplishment, but I'm pretty sure I'd go from China's hero to execute a traitor if something bad happened to you, his daughters, the princesses, and you all blatantly left the camp without a word of warning putting your lives in danger. But you got boyfriend! Shane then comes in and chews them out properly.
Why don't we start with this?
Or more so just Mulan, because she was in the wrong for going after them?
That's mine.
All yours? Or did you have help? And so, my dear father, I cannot complete this mission. I have come to realize that my duty is to my heart.
To his credit, Shane isn't wrong in his assumptions. Those words were inspired by things Mulan said earlier. And he's actually putting some order back into the mission like a proper general would.
This assignment has made it clear we are very different people.
Maybe too different.
Unfortunately, Mulan and Shane more or less break up from this, and
I see Pretty Boy isn't talking to you.
Oh, Mushu's enjoying all of this. Screw him. There is nothing that he can say or do to redeem his action.
Oh, I can't stand it no more. The only thing wrong with you and Shang is me. I'm the one that got between you.
What are you talking about?
You was getting married. Everything was gonna change. I was gonna lose you and my pedestal.
You mean you got between Shang and me so you could keep your job?
I'm sorry.
Do I look like I'm wavering? No, he's an animation hell in my book. If his crotch could cure cancer and he offered to be castrated to help the cause, I'd still hate him.
What you did was unforgivable.
Preach, sister.
Wait a second. Not as different as I thought. All those problems, they weren't us. They were you.
It's not like we both acted like idiots and our behavior needs to be addressed. Seriously, that episode of Told You My Island was the worst. So she runs to apologize to Shane, but they get ambushed by bandits. What timing.
Close ranks! Save the princesses!
Though in all fairness, we do get a very well-animated, well-choreographed action scene. But it results in Mulan, Shane hanging onto a rope from a chopped-down bridge. And Shane having to let go so Mulan can save herself. Amazingly, in spite of everything that's happened so far, I actually do feel something for this couple. They did have good dynamics throughout the film, only being faltered by Mushu, so I feel the way of this scene is very well thought out. Unlike the logic of the next scene.
We're ready to go through with the wedding.
No, your orders are to take care of each other. Losing Shang will not be meaningless, no matter what it takes. I'm finishing this mission.
Chinese word for what?
什么?
Thank you. Shenma? Yeah, instead of the princesses marrying the Prince of Qigong, Mulan's going to marry him. This makes no sense. First off, I assume this means you're letting the princesses and guards fend for themselves back to their bandit country. But then again, what are the odds of there being any casualties? But once they get back to the palace, they'll have to explain to the Emperor why there was a sudden, completely unwarranted change of plan. And third, and most importantly, why? Why is Mulan choosing to go through with this just because she lost Li Shang?
Losing Shang will not be meaningless.
Is one of the most female-empowering Disney characters of all time saying she needs a man in her life? That might be indirect, but that's definitely what I'm seeing out of this. Can this writing get any more stupidly contrived? Shenma! He survived that fall? No, that fall is probably bigger than the cliff dive from Total Drama, and here are my thoughts on that. Do cartoons like giving the message out that falls from high places into water won't immediately kill you? Yeah, what's the worst that could happen? It's not like children watch these cartoons. We see Mulan offer herself up as the bride to Qigong, and they accept. But the others find out that Shane's alive, and he plans to, here's one you've never heard of before, stop the wedding.
I'm going to Qigong.
We're going with you.
No, you're not. Stay here.
Would you say that was an order?
I would say it was a friendly suggestion.
From a general. So the wedding begins, which of course won't be met with any interruptions.
Of course I want to stop it. But what can one itty-bitty dragon do?
How am I supposed to break up this engagement? All I've done this entire movie is break up an engagement, oh. Sure enough, interruptions do occur, with Shang objecting and the king naturally not taking kindly to this.
How dare you trample upon this sacred ceremony?
Oh my gosh, where is the dang dragon of unity when you need him?
Conveniently time sense to further the plot? Check.
I am the golden dragon of unity, and I decide whom to unify. I've never seen two people more right for one another than this lovely couple right here.
So yeah, Mushu brings Mulan and Shane together, which completely makes up for everything he did before.
Mulan, do you love Shang? Of course you do. Shang, do you love Mulan? Yes, very much. Moving on. By the power vested in me, by me, I hereby pronounce you husband and wife.
And this scene brings up the biggest problem, well, okay, second biggest problem of the movie. The Prince of Qigong isn't wed. What does that mean for our heroes? I mean, the deal was for 3 princesses to marry 1 prince, and we get 0 princesses marrying anyone. Mulan included, I don't care what lineup she's in. And all we get is a shrug from the Qigong royalty, so I guess everything's fine on their end, the alliance is officially formed. No. No. Okay, things might be fine in the short term, but there's nothing that incentivizes Qigong to stick with this agreement. They could easily just opt out of the alliance anytime they want. There's nothing tethering them down. And remember this line from the beginning?
If this wedding does not take place in 3 days, the alliance will crumble and the Mongols will destroy us.
So one of 2 things needs to happen here. Either the 3 princesses still go forward with the wedding, since that is an option, or both kingdoms are doomed.
And furthermore, I hereby decree that the princesses of the Middle Kingdom are released from their vow and may marry whomsoever they please. And who pleases them, that's very important.
Nothing means anything anymore. Marriage certificates, screw those. Start committing as many adulterers as you want to. Business contracts, forget those. Just start breaking every company policy in the book. The Declaration of Independence. Start adopting British accents, everybody, because we formally belong to the United Kingdom. I think. I mean, there is the issue of Brexit still going on, but for all I know, that don't mean jack either. Not that I saw a formal treaty being signed by these two kingdoms, but I have to assume one was agreed on for this marriage to even be considered. But whether a document was signed or not, this movie has taught me that all formal agreements, written or otherwise, are utterly worthless. All that matters is being true to your heart, even if that means breaking up people's marriages and ruining each other's lives. Disney's Mulan 2.
But it's okay, because we partake in lazy chick flick check number who the fuck's even counting anymore. Unrealistic, happy ending that would be a positively terrible ending in real life.
And this results in Mushu losing his pedestal. Good f***ing riddance.
Better get your rest, Mushu. I have a yoga session at dawn, and I don't want to be late for my greetings to the sun.
Although this still doesn't excuse the other ancestors acting like assholes either. What do you mean the saying isn't two wrongs make a right? But get ready for this piece of dragon shit.
He's combining the family temples! What does that mean exactly? You know, for me.
Unfortunately, you get to keep your pedestal.
Oh, yeah!
Yes, after all the terrible, naughty-list sins that Mushu committed, he gets exactly what he wanted in the end. I know what this movie really should have been subtitled, Mulan 2, The Middle Finger's Middle Finger.
So this is the famous Mushu.
You told him about me?
I have no secrets from my husband, Mushu. I told him everything.
That's right. Great golden dragon of unity.
And I'm left to wonder two final things. One, if she told Shang everything about Mushu, why doesn't he step on him too? I mean, Khan did it. Still a great clip. And two, why in all of Chinese heaven, which I'm just discovering is named Tian, but why in all of Tian did the ancestors tell Mushu about this again? Yeah, same thing as the beginning, you could have just not said anything to this red hot little turd and you'd be fine.
He's combining the family temples! What does that mean exactly? You know, for me.
I don't have to tell you anything.
I wanna be like other girls.
No, it can't end there. It should end at the beginning of the movie so my sanity would have been spared.
Where's my masseuse? Saving China gives me nuts like you wouldn't believe.
Saving China? You condemn China, you Slim Jim Satan!
Let's get jamming on the toe jam, people! And somebody heat up some oil. Does a hero dragon deserve anything less?
I hate you! I hate everything about you! If there was a likability scale between 1 and 10, you'd be negative pi! You've been outlawed in 28 states just so people don't have to talk to you again! If cancer got cancer, you would be the one they would name it after! When people ask monks what the meaning of life is, they say stay away from your dumbass! You're Beethoven's Lost Symphony! Death to joy! You're the Surgeon General's warning on every pack of cigarettes! Give me an I! Give me an H! Give me an A-T-E-U! I hate you!
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that was Mulan 2, everyone. While mostly well animated and even having a little charm and intelligence scattered throughout parts of the script, it's bogged down by horribly botched morals, ridiculously overused rom-com cliches, and the worst downgrade of any character in animation history. What happened with Mushu from the first to the second film is like having Steven Universe become Ronaldo. They didn't spit on his grave, they dug his grave up, pissed in it, spit on that, and then filled the whole grave back up with their own feces. So, it's the worst Disney sequel ever, right? I don't think so, actually. I mean, the compliments I gave for it already make it kilometers better than something like Hunchback 2, where no effort was put into it whatsoever. At least some passion was put into this, even if it was passion for something terrible. With that said, I cannot recommend Mulan 2 to anyone, even if you love the original. Oh heck, especially if you love the original. I have my problems with the first film, but it's still an overall good movie. This movie, however, without argument, is animated Chinese water torture. Screw this movie to Tian and beyond. Oh, good. There, I am done with Disney. Well, not done, I'm still gonna watch their movies, but after reviewing travesties like the Hunchback and Mulan sequels, I need a break from Disney for right now. I need to go back to my roots. You know what that means. My next video is gonna be Return to Form, a video about Total Drama Island. Yep, I'm making another video on the most beloved animated reality show of all time. But what can I do? I've reviewed every episode of the first season. Wait a minute. I have done that! I've reviewed every episode of Total Drama Island! That's kind of incredible, I should commemorate that with something. But with what? I've got it. Pin them all together. Which episodes did the best of the best, and which ones left permanent stains on the show's reputation? Find out next time when I give you the top 5 best and worst episodes of Total Drama Island.
I could escape this feeling with my China